Chicago, 1935, Grand Terrace Ballroom. A 16-year-old kid named Ahmad stands in freezing rain outside, ear pressed to the wall, soaking up music he can't afford to hear inside. 50 cents for entry? He doesn't even have dinner money. But he's there, memorizing every note leaking through the bricks. Inside, a young musician named Nat Cole is pounding the piano with Earl Hines' orchestra. No one knows in 10 years this guy will change American music forever. No one knows in 30 years his voice will echo in every home. And no one knows the freezing kid outside will become one of jazz's greatest pianists, all because of what happens in the next 20 minutes. The kid who couldn't stop listening. Ahmad Jamal was broke. Not skip lunch broke, desperately broke. His family moved to Chicago during the Great Migration for a better life. What they found? Southside, depression, and closed doors. But Ahmad had one thing: piano obsession. Started lessons at 3, playing church at 10. At 16, trying to break into Chicago's jazz scene, but no one hires a kid who looks 12. That night in 1935, he heard Earl Hines' band at Grand Terrace. And everyone said Hines had a new pianist who played like no one else. Ahmad had to hear it, even if he couldn't get in. So he stood in the rain for 2 hours, listening through walls. He could hear the piano cutting through horns, bass, drums. Clean lines, perfect rhythm. Not hammering keys like others. This guy made it look easy. Show ends, side door opens. Musicians spill out, laughing, smoking, heading to cars. Ahmad's against the wall, soaked, shivering. Then he sees him, the pianist. Skinny young man in an oversized suit walking alone to an old Ford. Ahmad doesn't think, he runs. "Excuse me, Mr. Cole." Nat Cole stops, turns, rain dripping off his fedora. "Yes? You're the pianist, right? With Earl Hines?" Ahmad's breathless. Nat nods slowly. "That's me. I heard you from behind the wall." Words tumble out. "Couldn't afford to get in, but I stood out there 2 hours. You play different from everyone. How do you do it? How do you make it so clean?" Nat looks at this kid, drenched, eyes wide with desperation and hope. Most musicians would say thanks and walk on. It's late, raining. Nat's been playing 4 hours. But Nat Cole doesn't walk away. "You play piano?" Nat asks. "Yes, sir, since I was 3. "Where?" "Anywhere they'll let me, mostly church, but no one hires me for real gigs." Nat studies Ahmad a moment, then makes a decision that changes both their lives. "You hungry?" Nat asks. Ahmad's stomach answers before he can. Nat smiles. "Come on, I know a diner still open." All-night lesson. They're in a corner booth at a 24-hour spot on State Street. Nat orders eggs and toast for 2. Ahmad tries not to inhale his food, but he hasn't eaten since yesterday morning. "How old are you?" Nat asks. 16. Nat nods, sips coffee. "Got a job?" "Looking, but no one hires kids." "Yeah." Nat knows the struggle. "So you stand outside clubs in the rain, learning through walls." Ahmad hangs his head. "I know, sounds crazy." "No," Nat says quietly. "Sounds like me 2 years ago." Ahmad looks up. "I quit school at 15, Nat continues. "Dad was a preacher, wanted me to be one too. But all I wanted was piano. Jazz piano. Dad thought it was the devil's music." "What'd you do?" "Left. Moved here from Alabama with my brother. Slept on floors. Played anywhere they'd let me. No one gave a 15-year-old a real shot." "How'd you get the gig with Earl Hines?" Nat smiles. "Sat in one night. Earl was at Grand Terrace, needed a sub for their regular pianist. I knew every Earl Hines song by heart 'cause I listened outside, just like you." Ahmad feels something shift in his chest. This isn't just a musician. This is someone who gets it. "Listen," Nat says, leaning in. "You want to know how I play? I'll show you, but not here." "Where?" Nat checks his watch. It's 1 a.m. "Earl lets me practice in the club after hours. Owner doesn't mind, long as we're out by 6 a.m. "Want to come?" Ahmad can't believe it. For real? For real. Finish your eggs, we got work. 5 hours, one piano, everything changes. Back at Grand Terrace. Nat has a key to the side door. Club's dark, empty, still smells like smoke and whiskey. Nat heads straight to the piano, a beautiful upright Steinway. Sits down, motions Ahmad to pull up a chair. Okay, Nat says, show me what you got. Ahmad's hands shake. Playing piano in front of Nat Cole. He starts with a basic jazz standard, Sweet Georgia Brown. Nat listens. Doesn't say a word till Ahmad finishes. Good technique, Nat says. Hands clean. But you're playing it like it's written. You're not making it yours. What do you mean? Listen. Nat plays the same tune, but it sounds totally different. Melody's there, but Nat adds little flourishes, shifts timing, creates spaces where Ahmad filled every beat. Hear that? Nat says. Jazz isn't about playing every note, it's about the notes you don't play. Space, breath. For the next 5 hours, Nat Cole teaches Ahmad Jamal everything he knows. Shows him how to voice chords differently, how to use left hand for rhythm without a drummer, how to let the piano breathe. Look, most pianists try too much, Nat explains. They fill every space because they're scared of silence. But silence is part of the music, like a conversation. You gotta let the other person talk. Ahmad soaks it up like a sponge. Nat demonstrates his technique. Keep wrists loose, don't hammer keys. Touch them like something precious. They work on stride piano, bebop runs, blues scales. Nat shares tricks he learned from Earl Hines, Art Tatum, every pianist he's watched. Why are you doing this? Ahmad asks, as sun starts rising through windows. You don't even know me. Nat stops playing. Because someone did it for me once, and because I see myself in you. You've got that hunger, the kind that makes you stand in rain just to hear music. I'll pay you back one day, Ahmad says. Don't pay me back, Nat says. Pay it forward. When you make it, and you will, find a kid standing in the rain and bring him inside. What happened next? Ahmad Jamal walks out of that diner at 6 a.m. with a full stomach, head full of new techniques, and something else. Hope. Over the next months, Nat Cole keeps his word. Meets Ahmad whenever he's in Chicago. Sometimes an hour, sometimes all night. Never takes a dime. Asks nothing in return. Teaches Ahmad a revolutionary piano style. One that'll influence Oscar Peterson, George Shearing, Bill Evans. The one that makes piano trios a dominant force in jazz. By 1945, Nat King Cole's a star. Recordings with King Cole Trio sell millions. He's discovered his voice, that smooth baritone that'll make him one of America's greatest singers. And Ahmad Jamal becomes one of history's most influential jazz pianists. His album, At the Pershing, sells over 1 million. Miles Davis calls him his favorite pianist. His minimalist style, use of space and silence, straight from those lessons with Nat King Cole. The Letter. 1958. Ahmad Jamal's headlining at Blue Note in Chicago. He's a star now. Sellouts. Real money. Before a show, a letter arrives backstage from a 14-year-old kid in Detroit. Kid writes, Mr. Jamal, heard you on radio and it changed my life. I want to play piano like you, but my family can't afford lessons. Can you tell me how you learned? Where'd you practice? Ahmad reads it 3 times, then picks up the phone, calls his manager. Cancel my afternoon meetings. I'm going to Detroit tomorrow. Gotta meet this kid. Ahmad, you got press interviews, a recording session. Cancel them. I made a promise 23 years ago. I'm keeping it. Next day, Ahmad Jamal drives to Detroit, finds the kid's address, a rough neighborhood, tiny apartment. Kid's name is Billy. Opens the door, sees Ahmad Jamal standing there, nearly faints. You wrote me a letter, Ahmad says, about wanting to learn piano. Yes, sir, I'm your... You got a piano? Yes, sir. Old one. 2 keys don't work, but show me. Ahmad Jamal spends the next 6 hours teaching Billy everything Nat King Cole taught him. Space, breath, how to make a piano sing without words. Why are you doing this? Billy asks as sun sets. Ahmad smiles. Because a long time ago, a man named Nat King Cole found me in the rain, trying to learn jazz from behind a brick wall. And he brought me inside, taught me everything he knew, asked for nothing. What happened to him? Became one of the greatest singers who ever lived. Died too young. But before that, he taught me something more important than music. What? That the best thing you can do with talent is share it. Nat did that for me, and I'm doing it for you. The legacy. Nat King Cole passed away February 15, 1965. Just 45. Lung cancer. Frank Sinatra was a pallbearer at his funeral. So were George Shearing, Jimmy Durante, and Ahmad Jamal. At the funeral, Ahmad told this story publicly for the first time, about that 1935 night when a 16-year-old stood in the rain. About the pianist who stopped and said, "You hungry?" Nat King Cole didn't just teach me piano, Ahmad said through tears. He taught me that talent means nothing if you keep it to yourself. He taught me the greatest musicians aren't the ones who play the most notes. They're the ones who lift up the next generation. And he taught me kindness isn't just being nice. It's seeing yourself in someone else's struggle and doing something about it. Years later, in a 1994 interview, Ahmad Jamal was asked about his biggest influences. He mentioned Earl Hines, Art Tatum, Teddy Wilson, but then paused. The man who changed my life wasn't famous when I met him. He was a young musician who stopped in the rain and said, "Come on, let's get you some food." That was Nat King Cole. And that night, it all began. I've spent my whole career trying to honor what Nat taught me. Not just the music, but the principle. When you see someone standing in the rain, trying to learn what you know, you bring them inside, you teach them, you give them a shot. That's Nat King Cole's real legacy, not the hit records, not the TV show, not even that voice that stopped the world and made it listen. It's the thousands of musicians he touched, the kids he helped, the doors he opened, the lessons he taught, and the reminder that without generosity, talent is just noise. The piano still plays today. If you visit the National Museum of African American History and Culture in Washington, D.C., you'll find an exhibit on Nat King Cole. There's his Grammy, gold records, photos from his TV show, clips of him singing Unforgettable and Mona Lisa. Nat King Cole didn't just change music, he changed lives. One musician stood in the rain, and tonight, somewhere, a musician's giving a struggling kid free lessons, staying up all night showing them how to play, feeding them because they haven't eaten, not for fame, not for credit. They're doing it because Nat King Cole taught them, with his music, his example, his life, that talent is a gift meant to be shared. What do you think is Nat King Cole's greatest legacy? Drop your answer in the comments below to keep the conversation going. I'm reading every one. A. That velvet voice and those timeless hits like Unforgettable. B. His stance against racism in the music industry and his contribution to the civil rights movement. C. Mentoring young musicians, opening doors, and teaching that talent's meant to be shared. Hey, if this story touched you like it did me, hit that like button. It really helps spread the word. And if you're not subscribed yet, smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next tale of legends who changed the game. Thanks for watching, folks. Let's keep the music alive.